Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with another quick movie recommendation for you for a film called Haunting of the Queen Mary. Here's the synopsis. This film explores the mysterious and violent events surrounding one family's voyage on Halloween night in 1938, and their interwoven destiny with another family on board the infamous ocean liner in the present day. Alright, so let's get into this thing. Why do I think you should consider putting this film on your watch list? Well, first off, this film, based on its posters, might seem like it's just a simple haunting on a ship kind of film, but honestly, it's not that at all. This film actually has a very dense and sprawling narrative to it, and it's presented in a very non-linear way. More on that later. But yeah, that was not what I expected at all from this film, and it totally caught me off guard, and I'll be honest, about halfway through, I felt like I was watching like a Christopher Nolan horror movie. The film focuses on several different characters, and it jumps back and forth in between different points in time in order to do this, and I must say that the film does some really slick editing techniques in order to seamlessly transition from one time period to another, but the film doesn't just focus on the central characters. The writers took a big risk, and I thought did a pretty great job of actually going into backstories and the history of the Queen Mary, which is a real ship, by the way, and actually has a real history, and it's pretty cool to see some real life people from the past who are particularly famous show up on this ship, which grounds the story in reality in a very surreal kind of way, if that makes sense. But the overall result of all of these different elements and choices is a film with a very rich and sweeping narrative that felt way more substantial than it would have otherwise. And yeah, I'm realizing in hindsight that I probably won over maybe half of you guys when I said Christopher Nolan horror movie, so let's keep going. The second reason why I recommend you check this movie out is the tonal duality in this film. On the one hand, the film is kind of tongue-in-cheek, and there's definitely some sly and quasi-self-aware comedic moments, and on the other hand, the film is non-mess-around, frickin' brutal, gory, and ruthless at times. And I thought that the filmmakers struck a really nice balance between these two contrasting tones. And third, the cinematography is gorgeous for much of this film. Between the color palette and the framing and camera movements, it definitely reminded me of Zack Snyder and David Fincher and Guillermo del Toro's films and their cinematography, and they make beautiful films, so that's definitely a big compliment. And lastly, the ending swings for the weird big time. I mean, there's definitely a twisty ending that goes way further than I would have predicted. And as I definitely enjoy, it ends up going much more macro in scope and gets very suggestive of certain things, which I did not expect at all, but very much appreciated. A couple words of caution just to keep in mind. Some of the CGI, particularly of the ship, is like Sharknado caliber, and it stands out sometimes. And some of the use of green screen I definitely noticed, but it's not that big of a deal, it's just kind of a heads up. And the film is very, very dense, and it's told non-linearly, like I mentioned earlier, and it can get very challenging and almost exhausting trying to keep up with it. I mean, they really don't hold your hand. You definitely need to pay attention this whole movie, otherwise you will get lost. And piggybacking off of that, the film is a bit overstuffed to say the least, and might have even worked better as a miniseries. This film definitely has elements of The Shining, Ghost Ship, The Prestige, in particular the non-linear storytelling, and Cabin in the Woods in particular with regards to its ending. And if all that sounds interesting to you guys, then I definitely recommend that you put Haunting of the Queen Mary on your watch list and give it a shot. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? Have you heard of this film? Are you interested in it? Let me know down in the comment section. Let's talk about it. And as usual guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later.
Hey man, get off my case.
Oh man. Chicks don't want to hear that shit.